welcome to Quantum Leap Reviews. I'm your host, Sean Dillon, and I'm joined by my two regular co-hosts. To my virtual left, they're a video gaming live streaming extraordinaire, it's Freezing Inferno.
Hi!
And to my virtual right, he's a film buff with a love of Doctor Who, Michael Hoovian.
Hello. Well,
Uh,
I don't understand.
Today we are going to be covering one of the Quantum Leap comics, the only one to actually appear on the wheel. The Quantum Leap line was from one of the many startup comics companies that came around in the 1990s that, for good and for ill, released its licensed work. This one is called Up Against A Stonewall, and is a sequel to an episode of Quantum Leap.
An episode we haven't covered yet called Goodnight Dear Heart, which I really like that episode.
Heart. Yeah, Goodnight Dear Heart is a fantastic episode, and it really gives Sam it really shows Sam's inner workings as a person. This comic, however, okay, I'm just gonna say this out loud. I'm just gonna say this. This comic feels like it's the setup for a story that doesn't start. Like it's all the build up. You meet all the characters, you go through the motions, and then the twist, or what would be the climax of the story of Act 1, doesn't click. It
just
doesn't
to
activate.
just to get ahead of the lead here, the comic is called Up Against a Stonewall. Stonewall shows up on page 23 of 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does feel like they wanted this to be a two-parter. And no, it's...
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we get introduced to Sam Sleepy in this episode. The murderer, the murderer of Goodnight Dear Heart, for reasons we shall not get into for this thing, for what happened during Goodnight Dear Heart, but she was the murderer of that episode, and now Sam has leaped into her, basically post being a fashion photographer in prison. She would actually get her pictures out through a patron, who is the one who drove her from jail.
Yeah, the problem
And
with...
in the original history, before Sean begins again, is that the original history was she goes back to prison and will stay there for the rest of her days.
That's not
Sean?
good.
Yeah, and which is I think I see, given that original history that you describe, is that the original history that appears in this comic or in the episode?
That is the original history straight out of the comic.
Okay, because if that was the episode, I was going to say that I see a reason why this is a sequel episode to an episode of Quantum Leap and not just its own story. Though I suppose you really can't do, I guess maybe the editors of Innovation wouldn't let author Andy Mangels do this story if he wasn't following up from an episode of Quantum Leap.
Which you don't get
Yep.
sequel leaps that often. The first Evil Leaper is a sequel to Jimmy. That's really the only time I can think of that we directly follow up on a leap like this. Everything else
Yeah,
is
but-
No,
extremely...
it's not a follow. No. The first Evil Leaper story is a deconstruction of Jimmy. It's not a sequel. It's a deconstruction.
It's both.
I hate it.
It's both. You don't understand what I'm saying. It's literally, we are coming back to this life because Quantum Leap almost never does that. Sam Beckett leaps into somebody's life, solves their problems, meets this supporting cast of characters, connects with them, leaps out, and never sees them again because it's an anthology show.
Yeah, though I would like to pause for a moment to talk about author Andy Mangels, who, from what I'm looking up, seems to be a very vocal part of the 90s comic scene, in having edited the comic series Gay Comics, which brought in a bunch of people from Marvel and DC, including an independent comics writer by the name of Alison Bechdel, who would write a comic that would become Fun Home.
Oh, wait,
Um,
wait,
he was-
Is that Bechdel test? Bechdel?
Yeah. that one.
Wow.
Yeah, he brought her into he got her to write a short story for the comic series Gay Comics, and that comic would become that short story would become Fun Home.
Neat.
This dude did what? I'm not gonna dig this man's, like, the comic itself may not be spectacular, but the man behind it, they really, because he did a lot of things for a lot of series, as we found out.
Yeah, he's worked on did behind the scenes features for the 70s Wonder Woman show. Was a background actor for Leverage. Did a lot of activism to get rent control legislation in Oregon, and perhaps most notably for Mike's purposes, he wrote the Bionic Woman Wonder Woman crossover.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that comic is actually pretty decent. It's actually pretty dang good. Because
The
I've read
70s.
Batman 66, Wonder Woman 77. You know, I'm actually shocked Wonder Woman 77 is not on the wheel, but that's besides the point.
Mike just wants his Linda Carter.
But what I find just shocking about this is this dude is so prolific and done so much, from Star Trek Enterprise novels to editing to all sorts of stuff. And yet when you read his comic, this particular comic, it doesn't really click. You really get this feeling of they're trying to meet everybody, and Al at the beginning is even like Al even at the end just doesn't want to. Again, it feels like Act 1 of a story that doesn't go anywhere, that doesn't have its punch.
Yeah, like, I'm just going from the paneling perspective. There's a sequence where Al and Sam are both talking about the person that Sam is in, and for something like it's very much, it feels very cluttered, both with word balloons in a way that doesn't feel poetic. And the final panel of the page is just inexplicably a close-up of Sam's neckerchief.
Goodness.
Like page 5, if you're looking at the comic.
Page 5. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, that what? Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it just feel in many regards the 90s were very much an era where craft of making a comic wasn't the priority for a lot of licensed media like superhero comics. It was very much just get it done as quickly as possible.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And I believe this was one of the last issues of Quantum Leap Comics.
Yeah, this is issue 9, and issue 13, from what I remember, is literally half finished because Innovation went out of business, and it's just, well, this is all we can finish before the money ran out. Oh well.
Yeah, it just.
The grid is interesting, though. The way that the panels overlap over each other. It's not like this neat little grid like you'd expect from, say, an Alan Moore comic or something.
Yeah, but what's it doing?
It's jumping over itself and being a little messy.
Yeah, you know what it feels like? It feels like, let's say you were in a room with like a bunch, like, let's say you were a teacher and all your children are in front of you, and you ask a question, and then you get one kid who raises his hand, and then another one and then another one like stands up and goes like, I got it, teacher, and then another one jumps over here, and then another one stands up from their desk, and another one stands on the desk, and you have like literally people going like, like trying to get their answer out first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but at the same time, but is that the effect that you want for this page? Yeah, you're doing a cool effect. Like, there is interesting effect to this, but is this the effect you want to express this idea with? When you're writing comics, you have to think about how you are expressing the ideas on the page.
Yeah. From what little I did of comics critique, that's the main thing you got to do. It's not just about what's happening; it's about taking in the entire tableau and seeing what the arrangement of images is saying, just as much as what the words are saying.
Yeah, here's another image. Here's another problem with images. I think page 18 is the specific one I want to bring to you.
Okay, Fresno's gonna. I think
is...
Fresno's gonna kill us for this one, given that we're talking about specific pages, so they're gonna have to actually edit in the pages that we're talking about. So
am I, or am I just gonna be incredibly lazy? You find out.
Yeah, you find out. Find out whenever this comes out. But anyway, in this comic, you find out, of course, that she is a fashion photographer. Sam says that when he remembers it, he's like, "Wait, didn't you say she?" Even in the original history, when I didn't solve the crime, she was a fashion photographer? And Al's like, she still is. She did because of prison and everything. So you have her. So one of the pages, a couple of the pages is her going to her shoot and shooting up pictures. The photo shoot in question is not a fashion shoot.
Actually, that's page 17, not 18.
Yeah.
18 is the fashion shoot.
Yeah.
No, 18's. Well, yeah.
It's that area. It's that
Okay.
area.
I'm looking at the .pdf and it's saying 18 out of 25, but the actual page I'm looking at is 17. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but what it is this is anti-war propaganda.
Anti-war?
Which, yeah, you can use that in the context of fashion, but they really aren't.
Yeah, Fresno, you see that final image at the bottom?
Yeah, with the flag, yeah.
Yeah, that's anti-war propaganda.
Well, this comic is set in 1969, so you know. There is like one mention of, oh, do you think that Nixon is going to keep us in Vietnam? But other than that, you know, the terminal.
Andy Warhol also shows up.
Yeah, Andy Warhol.
There's one
history today is Sam gives Andy Warhol the idea to call his magazine Interview.
Look, that's not the worst kiss with history that I've seen. I'll allow it. I'm delighted by the joke where Al mentions, "Hey, is that Dennis Hopper over there?" Dean Stockwell and Dennis Hopper, of course, would appear in David Lynch's film Blue Velvet.
Yeah. Then there's also the scene where Sam has to defend all of his friends from a bunch of guys who just come in, and they have a conversation afterwards that says, "Where'd you learn how to do that?" A self-defense course. In prison? Can you think of a better place?
Yeah.
But
but that's right towards the end of the comic.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And
it is satisfying to see Sam Beckett beat up a bunch of catcallers who are like, you bunch of fucking lesbians, you suck. Oh yeah, suck on this, bamp.
Yeah, then there's also the elephant in the room that we seem to be jumping around and not actually talking about.
Oh, you want to talk about Clarice?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, given what you said about the writer of the comic being a prominent gay comics activist type of person...
Yeah, he held a panel for 25 years about queerness in comics.
So I wholeheartedly believe that his heart was in the right place, of course, for the time. Unfortunately, time marches on, and things that were once progressive become a little, shall we say, outdated. Given also that the fact that running for honor is a name dropped in this comic, which is also a Quantum Leap episode that was, for the time, on the mark about gay rights, but has aged rather problematically.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we'll get.
We're gonna get Running with Honor next time, aren't we?
Well, I don't know what'll happen, but we got to talk about Clarice first.
So, uh, as a fashion photographer, Sam is hired to take photographs of a young woman who is a young woman in the scene, and he takes traditional photographs. It turns out that how I put, she is quote not a woman, which oh boy.
Now, the comic frames
Oh,
this
God.
as Clarice is actually a. I'm just going to use the term they use. I'm quoting the comic. A drag queen.
Yeah.
Which-
I mean, that could be fine, but the problem is that the way they frame it is that Clarice, they flip flop over whether or not this means that she's a drag queen or if she's trans.
Yeah, and if she's trans, then the comic does a really bad job of it because there's this whole monologue about actually Clarice is named. I'm not going to say their dead name. I was thrown out of the House of 13 for cross-dressing.
Yeah, and the way they frame Clarice is very much that she's supposed to be trans and not a drag queen. They use the then colloquially fine, but apparently starting to get back into vogue term transvestite.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very offsetting when you try to look at
Yeah.
it, and it's. I get why it's here,
Hmm.
but no.
To play devil's advocate, could this be editorial mandate? Like you couldn't out and out make Clarice fully trans, so you had to take the half measure.
Possibly, but also keep in mind the relationship between the queer community in the 1990s and the trans community. We are going to fuck over the trans community to get more rights.
I mean, yeah. I'm thinking about popular culture, and this is right around the time. This came out February 1993, so we're right around the time of God Help Us, The Crying Game, and fucking Ace Ventura was about a year away. So
Was Will and Grace again?
is Will and Grace have trans stuff in it?
No,
Will
well,
and
they
Grace
did.
was 98.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ellen
Yeah,
coming
back
out
up
was
now.
96. If we're talking about, LGBT
On
rights. and-
television.
Yeah.
On television, she did that.
Yep. Well, I from what I remember, it was like she was about to be outed, so she's like, "Fuck it." But I could be
Yeah.
wrong on that. I don't know.
But yeah, it's really. I don't. You can tell that they wanted to write something more, but either got forced not to, or lines got crossed, or something happened.
Yeah, the comics industry was in a place in the 90s. I could very much be unsurprised if innovation just simply did not want this with a lot of homophobia. Just as an example, Kevin Conroy released his history of being a voice actor with regards to him being an out gay man. And it is dark.
Oh, I can only imagine. But in regards to comics, and I'm sorry, I have to bring. Okay, he's a piece of shit, but I have to bring him up. Neil Gaiman with Sandman and Wanda.
Oh boy, yeah, that is.
Which let's set aside the whole Neil Gaiman thing for now. That's way too much.
I mean,
to
if we're gonna go with contemporary comics released in the mid '90s, the other option is Lord Fanny in the Invisibles, which is its own can of worms.
Okay, so Morrison has one too. Huh?
Yeah, she's a main character, and at times very delightful, and at times problematic as fuck.
Yeah,
That sounds about right for the 90s.
For people in the 90s, usually comics were not like, even this is deep for comics, because usually comics in the 90s, the less said about Rob Liefeld and his artwork that basically sparked the 90s drivel
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah. But we were talking about the photo shoot earlier, and that does lead to a bit of a powerful moment because Clarice gets beaten up by the cops for being queer. And naturally, Sam is aghast at this. Oh my God, we've got to go to the authorities. We've got to call a lawyer or something. Oh no, we can't prove anything. They're not going to fight. They're not going to do anything to help a queer person. So the idea of the photo shoot comes along, and shooting Clarice out of a femme mode, beaten and bruised, but defiant all the same. It's a powerful, striking image. I'll give it that.
And Al even says, "This is some pretty heavy stuff."
Yeah. What's a little messy is when we get to the end. The usual Al checking the hand, and then everyone lived happily ever after. For Clarice, it's basically, and then Clarice gave up drag in the 70s and went on to be a gay rights activist.
Yep.
So
Again,
what are we doing here?
Yeah. I don't think that there's anything much to this comic. It's just a bit of a mess.
We should.
Yeah,
we should before we try and wrap up whatever. Talk about the actual Stonewall. The fact that it only shows up on page 23. Yeah, page 22. Page 22, we see the Stonewall. Page 23, we get the wrap up. Page 24 is the leap into the next story. There are 2 pages of this comic that deal with the Stonewall.
Yeah,
and they just go and they're just this. Oh my God, so much fucking text.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
what I don't understand about this is that they talk. It's like this comic is named "Up Against a Stonewall," so you think that this is gonna be during the Stonewall riots? No, you want to know. This is set before the riots.
We leap out right before the interesting part.
Yeah, again, this is what I said. This comic feels like we have entered Act 1, and right before the story kicks in, Sam leaps out into.
Oh, he leaps out, and we don't need to talk about the leap in. It doesn't matter. But I'm looking at the comic again, and the entire impetus of changing history is Sam as Stephanie Haywood going, "Hey, I could take pictures of this riot and publicize it," and Al's reply is of the time, but also, oh God, he's like, "That's it, Sam. It'll be like Rodney King back in 1991."
Oh
God! Oh Jesus!
Which yeah. That's an actual line in the comic.
I am going to walk away now. Can we wrap up?
I'm going to walk away now, and I do not know when I will stop.
Well, having broken.
So Sam leaps it. So after all this, all the characters live happily ever after. The person Sam leaped into ends up with her girlfriend, and they're still happy to this day. Hey, they live happily ever after. And Sam is now a stand-up comedian where he is bombing. Oh boy!
Which we already did that episode, and it had Bob Saget in it.
No, I can't make the Bob Saget joke I really want to make.
Yeah, you can't.
No, no, you can't do the Aristocrats.
No, I want to do the joke. No, Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh, that's Gilbert Godfrey.
No.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Yeah, it's just.
So
I don't understand this. Can I go first for final thoughts?
Just as well.
This comic is a jumbled mess. You can tell the production was troubled. You can tell that they didn't know what the heck they were doing. The fact that the name of the comic, the namesake, doesn't even show up until 2 pages before the end, and it doesn't even show up to be a pivotal part. It's just hey, we're on our way to visit the Stonewall comic. I mean, we're on a visit to visit the Stonewall Club. Let's go, everybody. Follow me. Let's go walk along. But it's like, really? Like, that's how we end this? It's just, hey, I'm going to take pictures of the riot. Really? Well, look at that, Sam. It's all fixed. It's not as bad as Song for the Soul, which is what we've done, which is the lowest one we've done so far.
That's our current low point for Quantum Leap.
Yeah, that's our current low point. Believe me, the bar will get lower. The bar will get lower and continue to fall.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as that. If I had to give it a score, 3.5 out of 10.
Honestly, this is about as bad as your average middling comic from the 1990s. It's not, for all that it has implications that don't fully work, or it's not hateful. It's not an evil comic. It's just not a good one.
Any more to add, Sean?
No, that's it.
Okay, well, I think it has its heart in the right place, given the author and all that, and maybe at the time, parts of it were really progressive and, helped the LGBTQ. I want to word this better than agenda. Cause forward, put new eyes on it and give you more sympathy, but as it stands today, kind of poorly aged, a little rough around the edges. The gridding is interesting, but I don't know what it's doing other than being there. And it's very wordy, especially in these last 2 pages. There's an entire panel that's just almost blank, and it's just their heads and just talking.
Yep.
Excuse me 1 second.
You know what it is? It's the seagull going, mine, 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 mine.
Okay, Mike, spin. So, any other thoughts?
Yeah, well...
Nope.
No, I'm not done. Come on, now. And, the
Sorry.
fact that Stonewall only shows up 2 pages to the end, and we defer the interesting story of... Well, maybe it might have been problematic to see Sam get so embroiled in LGBTQ rights fight like Stonewall, but on the other hand, I'd really like to see that and have the show firmly plant its flag. In short, if you want a great LGBTQ episode of Quantum Leap, go fire up the 2022 series and watch Let Them Play. All right, Michael, spin that wheel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let us spin the wheel and spin,
Please
spin
be a Quantum Leap.
around the wheel.
Please be on topic.
Wherever we land, nobody knows.
On topic, please.
Oh.
Well.
Just say it.
Okay, so we're at season 4 next time.
Mm-hmm.
Next time on Quantum Leap Reviews, we continue this trend of Quantum Leap episodes with Permanent Wave.
Oh boy, you were really okay. I remember this batch, and you hit the least horrific episode.
I literally dodged the bullet.
For reference, for the rest of you who don't have Quantum Leap's episode order memorized, the episode before this is Justice, which deals with some very mean people who wear white robes. And the episode after this is the trial of Katie McBain.
Yeah.
Good boy.
So we've wedged right in the middle, and all we have to deal with are people trying to murder little baby Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Do you want to know something, Fresno?
Yeah.
Do you want to know how close we were?
A sliver.
It clicked, and then the thing popped up.
Oh, thank God.
We were that close to having justice.
Well, thank Christ for that. Oof. We're okay. Well, we dodged a bullet.
Yeah, but hey, we are now covering 2 episodes of Quantum Leap.
We're covering an actual Quantum Leap episode. Yay!
Hooray!
All right.
But next time we get to cover Permanent Wave as a hairdresser.
Yay! Little baby Joseph Gordon-Levitt being traumatized. Look forward to it. Sean, where can you find this lovely people?
You can find me on the kingandredandblue.blogspot.com. I also write for The Beat. I have multiple books in the works, including about space with Lamech Tyre and other such things. Yeah. I also do podcasting over on the Comrade Reviews podcast without Freezing Inferno, despite the fact that it's the mirror season.
Hey, listen, I gotta give you kids a break somehow.
But you're watching Ghosts.
We were watching Ghosts. Now it's on break while you kids go after Yuribochi.
Alright.
Oh, yeah,
And what about you?
Oh, speaking of Yuribochi, Sean, are we allowed to talk about that yet?
Let's save that until we get the first one recorded.
Okay. That's a secret that will come up later.
Yeah. So I have a blog, Markovian Thoughts at blogspot.com, in which I'm very proud to say that I have passed the number of blog posts that I have done over the last 2 years. I have now, last 2 years, I did 16 and 12 respectively. By now, in the early month of February, I've hit 17 blog posts. So I'm very proud of myself.
Good job.
So very proud of myself. I also have a letterbox, also at Makohuvian. I really am trying to do continue on the schedule of doing like at least one letterbox thing a week as well. Again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work up to eventually writing a book. So I'm really doing well. I'm trying to do writing and it's going really well. But yeah, I've missed a couple weeks, but that's expected.
That's good. And
Fresno, what about you?
well, if I could ever shake off this cold, well, I've shaken off the cold part, but I still have the lingering cough, as you can tell. But been streaming. I finally did some more Super Mario World on Thursday night.
And he also saw the GBA Advanced port, and I'm shocked he didn't pick that version to play.
Why would I do that? That's rather wild. Nintendo went.
I actually played that one as a kid.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh.
Because of the Luigi hard game beater.
Oh.
Fresno is the hard game beater, and there's the hard.
Hey, sometimes I need a break, But if you want hard games, well, I don't know if I'll have this out on Sunday or Monday, but on Monday night, Fresno, I will be playing a brand new hard game that just came out. Mm-hmm.
The Wizard of Oz on the SNES.
No.
What part?
No, they're playing the Platform 8.
I'll turn this car around, kids. The Exit 8, now a major motion picture. Why?
It looked pretty good, actually.
Well, it looks pretty good. Although I'm like, why? That game does what?
No,
So,
it's not truly the experience unless it makes you incredibly anxious about how everyone in your life perceives you and also gives you an ocular migraine.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, sounds like a pretty decent time at the movies.
I mean, it's either that or Iron Lung, which has been getting a interesting reaction.
It was Iron Lung was fine, but you kind of wish it was directed by Ben Wheatley and starring Steve Pemberton and Reese Shearsmith.
Well, either way, good for Markiplier. Good for him. And thank you all very much for listening to our discussion on this Quantum Leap comic. And
we do apologize on the short length of this podcast. It's just, again,
I don't. I'm sick. I want a shorter one.
Yeah, this comic really didn't have a lot of meat to its bones.
It's a 25 page comic. What did you expect? Don't worry.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So next time on Quantum Leap Reviews, Permanent Wave. We hope to see you then. So all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching, and we hope you enjoy whatever it is you watch next.